right, and good morning. And Steve, I'm going to have to say that's somewhat interesting, but I mean, yeah, St. Floyd of fentanyl was one of the martyrs who was a monster. All their martyrs are monsters. And frankly, I gotta say, it's kind of a random little drop for the chat this morning. I don't suppose there's any particular reason we're talking about the Is it the exact anniversary? That's
No.
It doesn't seem like that's.
Also,
just a reminder. Also, Epstein didn't kill himself, and yeah, that's a little bit of where we're going this morning. And this morning's going to be we're going to have a little fun with chat of Arkancide and the like.
speaking of fun, is there any possibility that we can get to the thing that I sent you?
You sent me a thing?
Yeah, in Messenger. You even replied, "Wow."
Oh,
because
yes.
that's meme-tastic.
We'll get back to that in a minute. Let's focus on this for a minute. Terrifying tweet. Elon Musk fans concerned after billionaire writes chilling post on Twitter about dying under mysterious circumstances. And that, whew, there's a face for you. Elon Musk concerned fans after he wrote a chilling post on Twitter about dying under mysterious circumstances. What do you know about the Clinton family, Elon?
Well, no. I mean, he and Amber Heard broke up.
Mm-hmm.
See, it was...
Yep.
Yeah.
And
those circumstances wouldn't be mysterious. It's pretty... Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, Amber Heard... Good God. So, if you guys haven't been following the Johnny Depp Amber Heard breakup case, there actually is some stuff there that's theoretically important. There's some legal precedents going on there that's actually quite important. I don't know what just happened there. Oh, of course. It's installing an update.
It'll take it a moment. It's fine. Quite all right.
But yeah, the thing about the Johnny Depp Amber Heard case that is worth note. Most people in the States understand that Amber Heard is essentially an abusive monster.
Yeah, she's got pretty girl syndrome to the
right.
max. I mean, like, holy shit.
From the audio recordings that we have that have been entered as evidence in this case, we know that she has lied repeatedly about the abusive relationship between her and Johnny Depp, based on her personal admissions and statements and Depp's medical expenses and records from, up to and including the time that she almost cut his finger off with a broken bottle. It's become pretty clear that she is in fact the abusive entity in this relationship. Now let's see if I can actually pull this reel up and share it with you guys, because this is hilarious. Maybe the best part about the whole thing has been those little jabs like that, because Johnny has had quite a few of those moments throughout the trial. They've been amusing to watch. But I want you guys to understand something. This all goes back to
Messenger.
This all goes back to a case that started with the British, where I don't even fully have my head wrapped around the whole thing, but basically they handled the custody battle in Great Britain, and the British courts refused to admit the mountains of evidence which exist to suggest that Heard is an abusive woman. Right? So it's become pretty clear that the mother of the Me Too movement is exactly the kind of liar that you would expect her to be. In fact, apparently, she's the kind of woman that's so psychotic and depraved that, for example, here in her testimony, she's like, I mean, watch that. Here we go. Here we go. It's going to happen one more time. I'm going to let it play one more time. Does that look like she's blowing her nose?
It's the wrong direction for a Kleenex.
Because,
how entitled are you if you're going to do a bump in open court? Like, what?
I mean, maybe it's not cocaine. I suppose it's possible that it was heroin. But yeah, that's a bump. She did a bump, no questions asked.
I mean, what? Oh, God. And, you know, the other thing that's funny is everything Johnny Depp says has a layer of authenticity to it. Because he, well, like when they were questioning him about everything he'd done with Paul Bettany, and he's like, well, no, I did coke with Paul Bettany, not pills. And it's like, okay, all right, I believe you.
Right. There, every time Johnny's on the stand, he just has this clear air of like amused.
Well, he doesn't have anything else to lose. He's already been dragged through the mud. Yeah. So if it turns out he's only half as bad as she accused him of being, like, that's a half that he gets back. Right? Whereas she's the victim, or was the victim. And here's the thing about it, too. It's not just that, haha, it's actually Amber Heard and not Johnny Depp. There's this thing that says if you are male and there's anything wrong in a relationship, it's your fault, especially if you are a white male, a white powerful male, and obviously that's not the case in this situation. I mean, and for Amber Heard's part, she had to know who she was marrying. Like, oh, one of the things that's come out is that Johnny Depp likes to party and get a little wild with other A-listers. You know, I didn't need a trial to tell me that.
I didn't need to hear Johnny Depp get on the stand and say, well, I gave Marilyn Manson a pill one time so that he would stop talking so much. Like, nobody's surprised. I appreciate the revelation as it's amusing.
Yeah,
I'm bemused by it.
So, but
Steve, big question. Where in the hell did Depp's accent come from? I think it's a subtle mixture of state of constant hallucinogenic inebriation and generally a sort of affectation of putting on airs.
Yeah, so, and then we'll go back to Elon, but I want to make this point. It's not just that women can be abusive, because they can, obviously, right? But relationships can relationships can also be themselves abusive. Like we know people, and I won't say anything other than we know people who had an extremely volatile relationship and have since been divorced and appear to be much happier ever since then. I mean, like to say that it's always the man, or to even say that it's always the woman. Sometimes people are
well, just. Well, and I can think of several examples where the relationship itself was abusive, the divorce occurred, and only one party is clearly happier because one of them was just a miserable bitch from the outset. That's also a thing that happens, and that may be what happens here. It looks like Heard is a coke-addicted, miserable bitch.
I know, right? Like, there's a thing where, like, I think we do girls a disservice when they're really attractive by not telling them no every now and then when they're young. Like, they just get a wee bit entitled. But anyhow.
Well, so the reason all this is important is what we're looking at is the end of the death of the Me Too movement. And
Me too.
right. So the Pound Me Too movement was born out of this idea that basically, on the face of it, the idea is that every Hollywood actress is only able to get where she is because she's sexually abused and objectified by all the men in the world. And, you know, the more and more we learn about the situation, it's, your claim is that this director said that if you'd have sex with him, he'd give you a part in this movie. Honey, you weren't abused. You're a whore. Because he offered you a compensatory action in exchange for the act of sex, and you engaged in that act voluntarily. He didn't rape you. You sold him your body. You're not a victim. You're a whore. And that's what the whole Me Too movement was founded on. The base assumption is that man bad, woman weak. Right? So if a woman chooses voluntarily to engage in immoral action, then that's because she is a victim of a man being evil. But the woman would never have voluntarily made an immoral choice, like snorting coke on a witness stand in court.
Like, wow.
I mean, it's not exactly perjury to do a bump under oath, but one would suspect that you're at least under a higher level of scrutiny. I mean, dear sweet God.
I mean, this also proves if you've got enough money and you're powerful enough and whatever, you can get away with anything. You know what would happen to you or I if we did drugs in front of a judge?
Oh, I'm sure.
That would just be it.
Yeah. Oh, Steve says objection hearsay, and he's referring to one of Heard's lawyers kept asking Johnny Depp questions. He'd ask him a question, then Johnny would start to answer the question, and the guy's objection hearsay is like, but you asked me a question. I'm answering your question. And at least one time, the guy asks him a question, and Depp he gets like 3 words into a sentence, and the guy says, objection hearsay, and Johnny Depp goes, well, how do you know? I didn't even tell you the thing yet. I didn't even say it yet.
Yeah, so, Amber Turd is a turd. Okay, somebody else
if your last name rhymes with turd, maybe don't shit in people's beds.
And speaking of people that have dated Amber Turd.
So, people took to the comments section to address the world's richest man's concerning post. No, you will not die. The world needs you to reform. One user said in the comments, why would you even play like that? Another worried fan said. This comes just minutes after Elon Musk fired off a couple of tweets about apparently receiving a chilling message in the Russian media. The word Nazi does not mean what he seems to think it does, Musk said, and attached what appears to be a translation from a Russian media outlet. From the testimony of the captured commander of the 36th Marine Brigade of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, Colonel Dmitry Kormyankov, it turns out that the internet terminals of Elon Musk's Starlink satellite company were delivered to the militants of the Nazi Azov Battalion and the Ukrainian Marines in Mariupol by military helicopters. According to our information, the delivery of the Starlink equipment was carried out by the Pentagon, which is interesting. Elon Musk, thus, is involved in supplying the fascist forces in Ukraine with military communication equipment, and for this, Elon, you will be held accountable like an adult, no matter how much you'll play the fool, it continued. So, this bizarre claim. There are, in fact, Nazis, National Socialists in Ukraine and in Russia and in various parts of Europe. We've been hearing people cry Nazi, Nazi, Nazi for years now. And amusingly, all of the people that they've been accusing of National Socialism are evil capitalists at the same time, somehow. Which is confusing, but there are, in fact, many socialists and communists involved. Okay. The Russia-Ukraine situation. These are commies and socialists. There are no good guys in the Russia-Ukraine situation. There are hapless bystanders. There are unengaged victims. But understand that Ukraine and Russia, we're talking about commies and socialists on both sides. There are no good guys there. It's all bad. It won't bother me at all. I will not lose a wink of sleep if there are no survivors in Russia and Ukraine. If they wipe each other out completely, I will sleep easy that night. So Musk has been a busy boy. I mean, he's banging Aqua Chick. He's launching satellites and using those to engage in some kind of way to help out with one side or the other in the Russia-Ukraine conflict. I know he's trying to help the Ukrainians because we support the current thing, right? But buying Twitter and generally upsetting the powers that be with a very real and functional threat to end censorship globally. I don't know that he'll be totally successful in that regard, but it's a big step in the right direction. Musgrave Griffin. Well, welcome to the channel, Musgrave. Your sentence is a little scattered. I'm going to have to... Yeah. Nope, that's too much to dig into right now, but welcome to the channel. We hope you stick around and hit that subscribe button. Okay, so we've got about 10 minutes left in the show. It's a little bit scattered this morning because it's a bit of a slow news day, and whenever you're talking about Elon today, he does have his thumbs in a shitload of little pies. Musgrave, you are correct. It's not really a sentence, but thanks for playing. So we'll get a little scattered when we talk about Elon because he's got his thumbs in so many pies. And I've got to get out the door and get down the road. So let me go ahead and wrap us up on a little bit of housekeeping. Guys, we are 10 subs away from our next mile marker. So if you haven't already hit that red button, please do. Do the like, share, subscribe thing. Sharing helps more than anything. Subs are great because we want you coming back. We want a lively chat. We want a lively discussion, and especially the kind of engagement we get from people like Habeas Corpses and the old One-Eyed, either of the Steves. You know, several of these guys they're fucking comedians in their own right, and we enjoy that engagement there. And yes, safe sex is a gun in the nightstand.
It's safe anything.
That's what I'm teaching my daughters, right? So.
Well, but you're going to let them get through third grade first, right?
I've only got one that hasn't, but yes.
But
yes, you're correct. No, I had to think about that for a second. I was like, wait a minute, okay. Veers in this one and Penny. So, yeah. Yeah, my eldest is approaching 7th grade, and we're still pretty kid gloves with any of that kind of, Disney conversation.
Well, yeah, here's the thing, though. If she's approaching 7th grade, Mother Nature's going to step in and force that conversation.
We are keenly aware.
And when you're dealing with boys, you can put it off, but with girls, there's a really clear line of demarcation where you got to have the talk.
Yep.
Anyhow, but that's all that. Is there anything else? Or are we just going to go, there was something that gave me a good chuckle. And now
Habeas points out, Elon's no saint. Tesla is following suit with Amazon on paying interstate travel and employees sacrificing children to Moloch. Yeah, and that also bothers me. Elon is a free, at least asserts to be a free speech absolutist, and that is a big positive. But he's not some right-wing guy, right? Elon is not necessarily your best bud. He's not your closest ally. He may be the Russians while the Nazis are still in power.
I don't know that I'd even go that far, but your point stands.
So, but y'all be safe out there, and we will see you tomorrow.